to a level that you're saying that those were whole new experiences.
Yeah.
You conquered them, and wow, who can predict?
Yeah.
Who can predict where we're going to be in life? Mm-hmm. Except maybe winding up where we never thought we'd be. Right?
And that's out of pain.
Out of pain.
Yes. It's straight out of pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like you said, you took that quiet time, you shut down, and you have to. And my, you know, okay, I'm real, so certain things I say that might come back to bite me in later years or something. But anyway, you know, there was a time in my life where I would have took another avenue to a situation like that, especially when you're talking about, you know, your marriage and things like that. I would have took a whole nother avenue some years ago. But for me, I just felt a pull on my spiritual side that I've really got to shut down and I really got to connect.
Yeah.
Because I finally got to that place in my life where I know that I've got this connection. Yeah. And the only way that I can know what to do is to keep this connection. Yeah. Because without this connection, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. Yes. With this connection, I'm protected. I'm not going to be in a place of lack. I'm not going to be in a place of fear. I'm not going to be in a place of misguidance, because spiritually, my spirit guides, God, universe is going to show me what it is I need to do. And when I'm not in the right place, you know, you get kind of, popped over, you're in the wrong direction. You go this way. So, I mean, without it, and I thank God for, being my source.
Yes.
Because of him and him helping me to see that this was what I needed to do. And this is how you're going to get yourself out of this.
Yeah.
Me and you, we're going to handle this thing. We're going to get you where you need to be. But you got to do this. You got to take that pain and that anger and that frustration and that humiliation, because and the fact that I really felt pain and bad for people that were affected by my decisions. But I've got to somehow, I can't fix everything.
Right.
I can't make everybody else's life better. But, I just ask Spirit, just please take care of them, make sure that they're good, and I got to get back up off my feet. And he told me that you gotta talk about it. You got to use it as a motivational tool to help other people that are in your position. And a lot of times when we're speaking and talking, we don't realize that somebody has really been affected and will say, man, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. I thought a lot of times, well, maybe I don't need to say that. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that because, or maybe, and, my thing is that I can say that in saying something, some people may feel a certain kind of way because of what I said, but I'm not responsible for how someone else feels.
Yeah, right.
Because the truth is the truth. And this is one thing that I stand on. I've told my sons that no matter what a person says to you, if they're lying to you and telling you, well, no, I didn't do that, or no, the truth is the truth. I don't have to prove the truth. Because God knows exactly how that went down.
Yeah. Right.
And so I don't have to prove to you that, that I'm wrong or that you're right or vice versa. Because the truth is the truth. Yeah. So I know it's the truth. I know what happened, and I'm going to stand on that.
Right. There's an old saying that says, if you went up like you came down, you'll come down like you went up.
Right.
So as we find ourselves in life, when you're a young person growing up, and everybody has a different personality. Some people are very flamboyant, some people are not, some people are self-centered, some people are like people conscious. But I think, generally, if you, when you were growing up, well, I'll just say my experience. I can't talk for nobody else. But as I was growing up in my lifetime at a young age and starting to develop businesses and doing college and all the things that I had an opportunity to do by the grace of God, I tried to be kind to people. I tried to help people. I tried to include people because that's what I was taught. That's just what we did, So in going up, even when I did get to some level of success, at a younger age, I always found I wanted to share. I wanted to share. I wanted to give. I felt like it was my duty, my responsibility, as if I had really arrived.
I knew about that dang thing.
Look, I hadn't really even tapped on nothing yet, but I felt it was my responsibility because that was what my dad did. So I thought I was like a junior him, junior dad. I got to go help everybody and take care of everybody. With
no understanding of what it took to do it.
It still needed to do more, still needed a long way to go, and thinking I had, done something, but, I thank God that, when I was going up to that point, that I was being myself, that I was doing what I felt comfortable with. I didn't like, people that, when I had a business and I would go home with tears and sweat and blood and people mad at you because they thinking think about this, they got their own preconceived notions about what you're doing or how you're managing, and you're home sweating and crying and they don't even know what you're going through.
Right.
I'm glad that I didn't lash out. I'm glad I didn't lash out and just say, hey, this is my salon. Bye, go. I only had to do that one time. I only did that one time.
You didn't abandon them. She didn't abandon them.
Yeah, I didn't abandon all the people. Like, y'all go, y'all.
I don't want to have nothing else to do with you.
Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't in general just like, just try to lash out. Because then, starting all over, again, it's like I had people come to me when I was starting all over. And people coming to me, and I get emotional because I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Right. But people come to me and say, "Hey, you made a big difference in the community. You made a big difference in the community. You made the way people look at business. They looked at it differently in our community. They had a different respect of the way that they would handle their customers, or thank you for the opportunity.
Right.
Thank you for the opportunity that you gave me.
Right.
You gave me a second chance.
Right.
And so, when you look back at things like that, and when you're starting all over, those are the things that empower you to let you know that, good, bad, negative, whatever, that you can come back. You can come back from scratch. If you have purpose, whatever your purpose is in your life. And I think that we've all heard it, like, we're all clay. We're all clay in the potter's hand. And sometimes the potter just will allow that clay to just get, bam. Just like, we got to remold you, we got to reshape you. But the opportunity, even if you're starting with nothing, the opportunity that you have to get up every day. I saw a guy the other day that was homeless out, and we all usually give $1 here, $1 here. And I said, is this really helping this person? But anyway, we just do what we do because we're Americans. That's what we do. Yeah. And the guy, but when I looked at him, when I was approaching him, he looked so clean. He just had a very clean look. His hair was back in a ponytail. His cheekbones were very chiseled. And his body looked like he worked out. Well, he could have just came out of prison. I don't know. Because sometimes, in prison, you work out a lot, I guess. But, so I like to have conversations with people. I probably put myself in danger, but I don't want to just give you $1. I want to conversate with you for a little while. So I talked to him, and I said, "Hey, man," you look so clean. You look good. I said, were you a martial artist? Have you ever been a martial artist or something like that? He said, "Why are you asking?" and strong and, you know, everything. He said, no, he said, I used to. He said, I used to do martial arts a lot. I said, man, you know, you're supposed to be a teacher. I said, you are supposed to be teaching people to do what you did. And he said, really? I said, yeah. And then I gave him $1 and I drove on. The point of it was, sometimes we just need to speak. Now, he might have took that and threw it out his other ear, but you never know, like you said, you never know the impact.
That you
words.
Make. Yes, that you make.
The dollar might last for 2 seconds, but the words could live on and on. I heard T.D. Jakes, I was watching a video, T.D. Jakes had helped a mother out. The mother had came to him early in his ministry and brought her son with her to visit T.D. Jakes and showed him. And he said he was a little nervous because they were in the office by themselves, and the mother began to take the child's clothes off, but down to his back, you know, his pants. But the child had like beatings on his back. He was beat and ripped so bad that his dad had took a bicycle chain to his back just because he had been making bees. He was making bees, and this man basically abused him. So thank God, you know, T.D. Jakes was able to get that mother help and get them into another situation. And he said he never knew later what happened to them after that. But years down the road, he was at some store or something in the area, and the guy walked up to him and he said, "Do you know who I am?" And he says, "No." And he said, "I'm that little boy that you helped."
Oh my God.
Wow.
So, you know, like you said, being empathic, is that what you said?
Empathic.
You know, you kind of take on pain. I'm kind of like
feel,
that.
Yeah, you can feel, and you can feel, it's not just pain. It's when you're around people, you can sense danger, you can sense people's ill intentions, you can sense goodness in people, you can feel it. You know, some people confuse me. Like sometimes I try to figure out, it's a little, you know, I have to kind of watch their actions to kind of see where they're coming from because I can't feel their spirit. But I can feel, and to take it on, I have literally been around certain people and left them and become physically sick.
Oh yeah.
I have become physically sick, and it's happened to me a couple of times. And it's the same people that I was around that when it happened to me, I became physically, you know, nauseated, things like that, dizzy, stuff like that. And so, you know, it's just, sometimes it's, you know, I can shut myself off from it, and sometimes it's hard, and it's, you know, it's a thing to where you can also draw people, certain types of people to you that may not always be good for you, because empaths are always wanting to help people and nurture, you know, and be there for you, and that can end up being very negative for an empathic person, because they end up in a lot of pain because of what they've given out. And that, it's really about energy with that. It's about energy.
You said you've been in the presence of those people a couple times. Do you think it was for you to like pray for them, intercede for them, or to help them to reach a new energy level, or it just happened?
Yeah, I don't see it, you know, I didn't see it as praying for people. I feel like certain situations can be lifted up.
Yeah, that's what I'm
but
saying.
Certain people, that's not what their goal. You have to know what you're dealing with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just, and I knew who these people were, and I knew what was going on, and it's toxic, and that's what I was being shown through being sick. Because a lot of times when we take in food poisoning, you eat something, it's toxic to your body. Drinking, You drink too much, what happens? Your liver shuts down. It can't process. You know, it's toxicity. And so what it was is it was just toxic for me to that's what I was dealing with.
Right.
And that was what the message was to me. Is
I got caught up in that in more of a church situation.
Yeah.
And I was around, some people for a period of time and a particular person. And, I was taking on some stuff that I shouldn't have been taking on. And had to finally get to the point where I realized I didn't need to be around that person. There was nothing good for me to do for them. There was nothing good for me to give to them. It was for me to learn that there are certain people out here that maybe you need to keep your, little boundaries around because, everybody is not good for you. And that's hard for me to fathom because of growing up with the family that I had.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to think that anybody thinks ill will of you. Now, I'm not stupid.
Right.
But when I meet somebody, my first, thought on meeting somebody is not how do I protect myself from that person or where they come from, where they coming, what they're about, because I was sheltered. That's because I was sheltered pretty much, probably. But I've learned to say, hey, nice to meet you, and we'll see. So
yeah. I've taken more of the approach. Some people are a little bit more subtle as to when you meet them, but what I've realized in my life is that I also go based off of action, because a lot of times people operate and don't realize that you're watching them operate, and they don't. People do things naturally. It just comes naturally. Even liars can slip up, cheaters or whoever. And so, I can listen to you and I can, sometimes I can feel you, but I also watch your actions. And I see over time if what you're saying to me is who you are.
Lines up.
Yeah. Or are you just, telling me this because you want to put me in a certain place in your life?
Right.
Yeah.
I got it. Well, one thing I used to say when I was dating back in the day was it was basically a counterfeit.
Yeah.
I called them a counterfeit, relationship or a counterfeit Romeo or something like that.
Right.
When you had what do they call the gentlemen? When gentlemen have their gentlemanly ways, their chivalry, counterfeit chivalry, because a lot of people will do and present themselves to get you into their area, into their little circle or into their little world, and they're gonna do everything and present themselves in a way that they feel like it's conducive to whatever you appear to be believing or living or doing. And then if it's revealed to you that maybe it was not what you thought, then everybody's in shock. Oh, you actually really do watch that particular TV show all the time? So I used to tell people, look, before you get married, if you decide that you want to go bungee jumping, or even if it comes across your mind, you might want to say, hey, I think I'm going to go bungee jumping at some point in my life. And that way, nobody's surprised. I mean, I told you I might go bungee jumping,
Right.
But some people, they're not going to they're going to say, yeah, I heard you, but they really didn't hear you. Just enough to get you,
And that's true. And I also think that we can be fooled by people simply because we wouldn't believe that people would do some of the things that they do.
Yeah.
And if you haven't experienced it enough to be able to peep it out, there is no way in the world for you to know.
Yeah.
How would you know? You know what I mean? If you've never had, you know, somebody cheat on you or lie to you, how would you ever know the signs? Or if you just ignored it and you really never saw the signs. Right.
Because sometimes you can see signs and then you're thinking, nah, you know, you'll dismiss it.
Right.
You know,
right.
Because some things I think we don't want to accept because we don't know what our role is in it. Like, how do we fit into this situation? You know, what is it? How do I play a part in it? Or what do I do with that person? You know,
what do I do with it, and what will be the course of, you know, what's going to happen after my actions take place? Like, it's like you can't figure out every single ripple of the water.
Yeah.
But you do think about it.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, once it comes out your mouth, it's a consequence.
Yeah, there you go.
So no matter what, once you say it, you know, now you're dealing with and you never know how somebody else can react.
That's right.
To what you're saying, because sometimes I've said stuff to people and how I thought they would react to it, they didn't react that way.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when they doing on some nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, then it becomes, you know, now it's the mountain.
Yeah.
You know, instead of the, what do they call it, the molehill?
Yeah.
Back in the day language.
Yeah.
But instead of it being the molehill, it's turned into a mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's been tough. You know, you bring people into your experience, and I've always said, you know, I know my personality, and I'm a lot better. You know, with channeling, you know, if I'm upset or things like that, you know, because I'm a Taurus, I can be a bull, you know, and I have done better. But if I come to that moment where I'm in that storm, you can't be that storm too.
Oh yeah, yeah, that ain't gonna work.
You know, and now we just two storms colliding. You know, somebody has to be the calm to the storm. And, you know, when the two storms started colliding was painful for me, because that's when you realize that this is a problem.
Yeah.
So what's next? You know?
And it's good to have a plan. You know, last time we were talking about having plans of action, and Maria was saying, you know, you gotta have a plan. You gotta have a plan. Just in, you know, in our life in general, even if it's nothing really so totally happening, going on, or we think something's going on, it's good to have, you know, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. Just a plan of, you know, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Because if you have some type of a plan, then you know what? Now, I know something with chemical addictions, you know. I know some things with chemical addictions. You might want to get one of these and, you know, they got all this.
Well, you know, it's becoming legal now.
What is it called? CBC? Now it's the legal
CBD
part.
oil.
CBD.
CBD
So,
oil.
you know, the thing about it is if you don't have a plan, you start looking at this.
Yeah. That's not a plan. Yeah.
And you know, I have been through like stress in the last couple of years of my life. And I said, man, you know, because I don't really drink or anything like that, right? So I'm like, man, I see why people drink. I see why people probably smoke if they don't have something to, you know, go to. You know, because stress and pressure will push you somewhere. And you have to think, okay, when this storm, like you're talking about storm, when these things start coming, because in life we're going to go in and out of storm. Let's say it's either you've been through a storm, you're in a storm, or you get ready to go through a storm, or you're coming out of a storm. So you got to think, now if I have some type of a plan, I might not be able to totally follow through on my plan. But at least I have thought about the possibilities of what I can do in a situation.
But now I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
Now, I agree with that. But when you sit in that church, okay, and they tell you, and I'm talking about in regards to marriage,
Yeah. Okay.
relationship,
Okay.
okay? They tell you, you know, you're thinking in your mind that this marriage is forever, and they tell you, be careful what you say out your mouth, because you can speak it into existence.
Right.
So to have a backup plan means that you don't believe. Now this is what I'm saying that they are saying.
True,
okay,
true,
now
true,
this is not my belief.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that this is what a lot of us have been taught.
Right. Right.
Okay, and that if you speak that and say, well, I got another plan, well then, you know, that church lady's looking at you saying, so you don't believe your marriage is going to work.
Well, you know what? That's just like people used to always say you need to have your own bank account. I didn't believe that because I'm figuring, why do we need to have our own bank account? Well, we won. I mean, you know, two became one. Why do I need my own bank account? I mean, I was, you know, and I mean, because like you said, if you listen to what it says, you're supposed to be there forever and everything like that. So you're not even thinking about a separate bank account. You're not thinking about not that people can't have.
Period.
Yeah. So you're not thinking about
you're
a plan
going into
B.
the marriage thinking that this is it.
Yeah.
This is what it's supposed to be. You just stood right in front of me.
Yes.
You looked at me with this man standing here and God up there, and you told me that you were going to be there for me.
Yeah.
That you were going to do these certain things for me.
Yeah.
And that you were going to never leave me or forsake me.
Right.
So I have a plan B.
Right. I think this. But you're right, because you don't think about it, and I think that's why it was so hard, like me having to start from scratch, you know.
Me having to start from scratch as well.
But the thing about it is, we might need to keep him out here for a minute, because I'll make a point
Oh,
with him.
sorry. Okay.
Put him back. But no, seriously, you're right. I mean, you're not thinking about that. But also, the thing is, even if people don't go in thinking about getting divorced before they get married, unless it's somebody like a famous star that got a lot of money, and you're thinking about, does this person want me for my money, or they want me
do
for
a prenup,
myself?
and then you ain't got to worry about none of that.
Yeah, a prenup. I wouldn't tell anybody to do what to do for their own marriage. I wouldn't tell them that, because some people are going to be together forever. They just, you know, they found the right one, and it's going to be like that. But I would say to plan, you know, your future. You know, you still need to have a future plan for yourself.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make the point.
You're right.
As far as relationships, marriage goes, that when we say that, but you know, you are 100% correct, and riding off of what you